Hello, today I will teach you how to do several layers of ceilings or rooftops in your base to protect it better. Rooftops in this game are pretty weak, and there are several raiding techniques that players may use to get to your base through the roof. Okay, they can raid you from above without you even noticing or not know how can they do that. And I will not only show you how can you do several layers of ceilings to protect your base rooftop, but also show you the techniques that are used to get to someone else's roof, as well with showing you how weak rooftops are actually. No matter how many wall layers or iron walls you have around your base, if you have only one ceiling or two on the roof of your base, it is still weak. It's still not protected enough. So let's start using the shorter kinds of walls, okay? Go always with the shorter ones if you want to add several layers. So let's say I'm in the third floor of my base and not on the ground level. I'm just showing you this in the ground level because it's easier for me to do so. Why you should choose the shorter walls instead of a taller wall? I'm gonna use this one. Can you see these green blocks here? The green blocks mean that you can build a ceiling per block, okay? And while you can only do this here in just this amount of space you got here, you can only place one ceiling. Here you can place 3. This is the ceiling layering I'm talking about. This is the basic one. So instead of using only, for example, just a bit the raid drill to get through this rooftop, flat roof, or for example only one C4, the raiders need to use even more resources, raiding tools to get through the roof, okay, like this. So that's why you should not on the top of your base go with only one kind of tall wall, okay? Just go with the short ones. And also I can show you how to protect better the layers, okay? Between the layers there are 2 choices, and there's someone else's video about this, but you want to spend plenty resources doing this. So for example, let's build this here. And I'm gonna go now with a wooden wall because I need to remove it later, and it's kind of cheaper. It's easier to get than an iron wall, for example. And I go with I choose the shorter ceilings, the smaller ceiling pieces, and I'm gonna tell you why later in this video. Okay, so let's say this is the rooftop of your base, even if you got like a tall tower or a base of this size, okay, of this height. And now let's remove this under. So this game defies gravity, as you can see. And you should also remove this foundation. Now let's add another foundation, but with a different height, okay? So a shorter foundation, like this. And I'm gonna switch to first person. Now you can go with, yeah, with the same size of wall, okay, with the same wall size, okay? And there's a little gap between the ceiling above my head and this wall. This means that you can add another ceiling closer to the other one. So the rooftop is more reinforced right now in a smaller amount of space. Maybe like this. And now I'm gonna see if I can use no, because now I'm closer to the rooftop. So I'm gonna go with shorter walls right now. And there's still the little gap over there, which means you're able to place another one closer, and so on. Gonna remove this again. This means that you're gonna spend tons of materials doing this, and that means that, okay, not like this, probably not as tall. Now if it doesn't work with this one, go with a shorter one. I'm not doing this like quite properly, but this is an extra layer. So and so on, okay? Instead of the common 3 layers that you should still need between 2 or 3 C4 to pass through this. But there's another choice, okay? And probably a little cheaper than this, and you don't need to spend more concrete on foundations, alright? It's a lot of work doing this way. So another choice, okay? Another alternative to the common 3 wall, 3 ceiling layer is really go with stairs in between, and I'm gonna show you what should you do. So I'm just gonna add the common amount of floor pieces or ceilings, whatever you want to call this, flat roofs, whatever, okay? And from this, you can start building between the layers a space. Go with the stone, okay? The stone brick stairs. And I'm gonna place them like this or like this. Place them in a way that the players will have a bad time to get through the roof. This is an old technique that was taught me by someone else. I found out by myself the common layering, but I had previously no idea that these stairs will help me. But they did actually in some situations, and even to reinforce the walls if you are doing this horizontally and not vertically, to you know, to prevent someone coming from the rooftop. And like this, I'm gonna test this out, and then without the stairs, okay, to see the difference. So to see how many C4 a player needs to use to open a hole in the rooftop. Sometimes this is effective, other times it's not. As you can see, it destroyed the first stairs, okay? But let's try again. A little more to the left side. And it also depends of the C4 placement. In this case I placed it really over the ceiling piece. But if I place it like between 2 of the pieces, this is a little unpredictable. Actually, in general, the bricks, the stone bricks structures are unpredictable. They can be destroyed with 1 C4 or 1 C4 and a half. And in this case, it totally worked. It didn't fully destroy one of the ceiling pieces, but it destroyed the other one. But that means that someone is going to have a bad time because they need to keep using more C4 or more raid drill resources like the drill bits, or you know, spending more time to get through this strong rooftop, okay? This is why you should be placing this in between the layers. And how about if I remove this? I don't think this is quite damaged, but I'm gonna replace this with another piece. My bad. Just gonna add this here. And now I'm gonna really go with C4 over here. And like this, it will destroy the first ceiling, but not the second one totally, okay? They need to still use an extra one, but with the use of the stairs, they probably will need to use a few more. So this is how you do layers of ceilings, and I have here an example. I think I've tested a couple of things. Kind of, I've already blew up a few things over here. So now I'm gonna show you how weak are the roofs before passing to the raiding strategies that some players use. One of the strategies, many people don't know about that one. I didn't want to show this on video because more people will going to start to use this, but this is actually a video to help you and to show you why you should be protecting better the rooftop. Let's say I got here small structures, okay, small ceiling pieces. If I just press this button, as you can see, small ceiling pieces here as well, made out of stone. This is a big piece, okay? The large ceilings here, and I'm gonna show you why you should be using now the smaller pieces, okay? Even if you spend extra resources on doing this in your base. So let's say I'm gonna put this in the center of these 4 small pieces. I'm gonna just arm this C4, and here I'm gonna add in one of the corners, okay, directly into only one of these small ceiling structures instead. And on this case, as I've placed in the center of these 4 pieces, I needed one extra C4 to get through this, and here, as I've placed directly in one of the pieces, I only needed 1, okay? And why should you not be using this? It's whatever you place here or in the center. This is a big piece, so it doesn't matter much. And here this is obvious that it goes like the walls, only with 1 C4. I'm using smaller pieces here, but let's see what happens. And here it's completely destroyed. That's why you should be going with the smaller ones for some reasons. And here it destroyed 2 of the pieces. Just work hard to get these stone bricks instead of wood ceilings, okay? And these kinds of common rooftops, okay, to make your base looking prettier, are not as strong as you may think. They look like stone, but they are made out of wood. So as strong as wooden ceilings, flat ceilings, okay? Flat floors. The floors are always flat. Okay, so that's why you should be protecting this under, okay? So this will be put down with only 1 C4. You can open a hole in someone else's base if they are only using these kinds of rooftops. They should be using a ceiling under it, even if it's a bigger piece. Okay, this is an extra protection, which means extra raiding tools to put one of these down, okay? So now let's pass to the raiding techniques, and sometimes it's by poorly built bases, okay, by building mistakes. For example, if you build a base at the ground level but closer to some of the rocks, some people can manage a way of jumping over the rocks and over the base rooftop, just in case the base is too close to the rock and is shorter than the rock, okay? Another way of raiding the base is just in case you are building over the rocks, you know, and you know you are in a higher place and no one can reach the rooftop, you are actually wrong. First of all, because the players can own modsy helicopters now, and they can eventually manage a way of jumping or landing on your rooftop. So think about that, you need a strong roof for that. Another way, okay, of reaching your base that is on the rock and you think people cannot jump over these rocks, climb the rocks without the use of, you know, objects that help them to jump and go to the top of a rock. Well, sometimes it's because you forgot to claim the plots, the building areas around the rock, okay? So just in case you are building on the rock, make sure you are claiming the whole thing around, okay? To avoid people to get into your base up there. At the ground level, for example, let's say I want to build my base in only one plot, but if I don't claim with an ownership stake the plots around my base, okay, so this is a plot, this is a building area, and limited with these purple lines, which I need to claim with an ownership stake, this is another building area. As soon as you can grab enough resources, even if you are a solo player, this may take a little more time for you, but it's still possible. It's always what I do, is to build, for example, a base, or I claim 4 plots, or if I build in the center of a plot, I try to claim as fast as possible the areas around me, so no one can build too close to my base. Okay, I don't want neighbors close to me. And if you do the mistake of building in only one plot too close to the plot limits, okay, like I did this small building here, what happens is that players can use an old technique even to go and reach your base over rock, is to do these raiding towers. They can look like this, or even taller, or even they can just close it down with some walls around, and they build ladders or stairs, whatever they want, to go up, and they are higher now than your base is. They can build tall bases and jump over your rooftop really easily, okay? And that means that they can raid you from above as well. And on this case, just in case you are in a rush and just started and wanted to build just a small base as a shelter before logging out, I advise you that it's better to just build a couple of wall layers and a taller base. For example, instead of building horizontally, you should also build at least one level vertically, okay, one floor above, in order to prevent this from happening. What's happening here is that the players can use some kinds of objects or even vehicles. For example, clans can use vehicles, and they can just come here. Vehicles easily, okay? You as a solo player can also obtain a vehicle, and they can even flip it. The car is not needed to flip to jump over someone else's rooftop if the base is as tall as this one here. But if you are using, for example, a bike or an ATV, a goat, you can just flip it with the use of this spear, okay? And then you can jump over anyone else's short base, or even the use of raiding tools to make some kind of stairs to do this, because anyone can place a raid drill or C4 attached to your buildings, of course, and jump over this rooftop as well, or use the technique. This is an old technique used by many old players. I mean old players that have been playing this game for a long time and found this out. And yes, I wanted to try to keep this secret, but it's not possible anymore, of course. I talked with one of the developers the other day, and I was wondering if they would make these objects like non-clippable, okay? If they will remove the colliders. For example, this workbench has a collider. I cannot pass through it like I was a ghost, okay, passing through things, because it has a collider, so I can just simply jump over it and stand on it. Same thing is happening with the C4. They won't be removing this because this is part of the game eventually, as I was kind of told, and this is one of the techniques used to raid bases, so you can jump over the raiding tools to go some upstairs, okay? Even if you got a tall tower, someone with patience and experience, okay, and enough skills to jump over the C4, they are able to do it. So I'm gonna show you. And they only need at least a 2 C4 to do this, so it's not as expensive as you may think, especially if you are playing with a clan, okay, on a group. I'm gonna switch to first person again. I'm gonna add another one here and jump over it. This requires a few trials sometimes. Sometimes you break your legs or die, so if you use helmets to prevent to getting really hurt from fall damage. Now the players arm the first C4 they placed to defuse done and pick it back up, okay? This is how it works, and then they keep placing this to reach the higher place. They need to do this carefully, but this is still happening in the game. That's why you need to reinforce the rooftops with this layering system, okay? Don't forget to keep using the shorter walls on the top floors of your base. I hope this was helpful. Thanks a lot for watching and see you in the next video.